Hey everybody, welcome to Advisory. This is your next section of lessons. This one's going to be on memory. Okay, so memory, when we think of memory in your circumstances as a student, we're going to talk a little bit about like tips and tricks to memorize material a little bit better. So this guy, Nelson Dellis, is a 3-time winner of the USA Memory Championship. So it's a real thing, right? People actually get paid for this. So he can remember millions of names, words, numbers, and faces, but the first time he tried out, he did not even get selected to compete. So over the next few years, he trained his brain by spending hours memorizing a shuffled deck of cards or a page of random numbers. So he does not have any special abilities. He's not like a psychic or any, he doesn't, it's just the understanding that practice, challenge, and failure are what separates the losers from the winners, right? So after this lesson, you will know how to remember more information. You will use regeneration to study better. So that's a technique that we're going to talk about. And use mnemonics to remember difficult things. Okay, I imagine you've all experienced the time when you meet somebody and you shake their hand and everything and they say your name and like immediately you're like, what was that person's name? And it could be because we're distracted and we're not intentionally making the effort to remember it. So basically, these lessons are going to give us new ways to remember certain things, okay? So, you need to know, today is your geography midterm, and you need to remember two very different types of information. So you need to remember all 50 state capitals, and then you need to remember information about the first governor of your state. So can you remember all this? Yes, you can. Because your brain is made up of roughly 100 billion neuron cells, okay, that are each capable of making between 5,000 and 10,000 connections. So your brain is totally capable of remembering all of these things. And the way we do it, the way we remember things when we have a lot of things to remember is by making connections, right? So we're going to talk more about that. So in this lesson, you will learn how to remember more, and it will teach you tips and tricks to improve your memory, right? So we're going to watch this quick video about some of these tricks, and it's just like a little adorable kid that I just thought you should all see, okay?
Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you something very important. Come closer. I tell you how to remember everything. Our brains have two types of memory. We have long-term and short-term memory. Long-term memory is something you remember very well, like a vacation you went with your family, or something you spent hours and hours trying to memorize, like me trying very hard in my first grade, trying to memorize the times tables up to 9. True fact. Short-term memory are things that you easily forget, and I mean very easily. That's like you spending a day trying to memorize your times tables, and then you don't remember the next day. Oof. Practice makes perfect. These memories often disappear when you sleep. That's why people use mnemonics. Mnemonics are memory tricks that help you remember large amounts of information. Mnemonics can help you do anything from creating a password or memorizing movie lines. A lot of famous people have used mnemonics too, and there are a lot. There are many types of mnemonics, and we will be covering 3 types of them today. Let's start off with acronyms. Acronyms are letters made with only the front letters of the things you want to remember. Let's go easy with this one. Ever heard of Roy G. Biv? It stands for the colors of the rainbow, or to be more specific, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. There is also laser. Yes, the guns you see in sci-fi movies are an acronym. It stands for something pretty hard. Skip the next 10 seconds if you don't want to hear. It stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Pretty hard, right? Or if you're a Harry Potter fan like me, you could say MACUSA is a good one. It's like the Ministry of Magic, shortened to MOM, another acronym, except the American one. It stands for the Magical Congress of the United States of America. Well, some kind of concept. You can also use music as a mnemonic device. For example, this song to remember the Canadian provinces. It's pretty old though, as my teacher said she learned it when she was in 4th grade. It goes like this. Newfoundland and PEI, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, Quebec, Ontario, from there you'll see Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC. There are also acrostics. They're like acronyms, just turned into words. For example, my very energetic Melanie just swam until nighttime is the way to remember Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. We can't use my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas, as Pluto is not a planet anymore. Bye then, Pluto. Oh wait, you already said bye to him in 2006. There's also Dear King Philip came overboard, great spaghetti. That stands for Domain, Kingdom, Phylum, Class, Order, Family, Genus, and Species. So, if you want to find your cat in the classification hierarchy, for example, you'll have to choose the Eukaryota domain, that means the organisms with complex cells. Then the Animalia kingdom, that means that it's an animal. Then the Chordata phylum, that means there are animals with spine. Then the Mammalia class, for mammals. Then the Carnivora order, that they're carnivores. Then the Felidae family. Then the Felis genus. And finally, the Felis catus species. I want some lasagna. Or spaghetti. I hope that was very helpful to you. Try to beat the world record. I'm just kidding. But you can. Try to remember more than 40,000 digits in the pie. Oh, not a pie, a pie. Like a pie, not a pie. Pie away.
Okay, so after watching that video, you don't have to remember any of those things, okay? The point was not to be like, what are all these words? Because I have no idea what half of those words were. The point is, that is a way to remember something else, right? By using those devices, by using like the first letter of the word and creating a word that will help you remember whatever it is you're trying to remember. Okay, so that was just a demonstration. I just thought that kid was adorable. Really, that's why I wanted to play it. So again, don't worry about all those words that he had on the board. So this is just the reflection for today. I'd like you as a class to share what are some ways that you remember things. Maybe your teacher has some insight, some ideas that help them remember things. Before we talk about more techniques, I just want to just kind of gauge where you're at. What are ways that you remember? Sometimes when I meet people, if I'm meeting a lot of people at once, I repeat their name in my head if I meet them the first time. Doesn't always work, right? But at least I'm like making that effort to remember intentionally by saying, okay, So that's a way that you could remember things. But what is your technique if you have any? And maybe you'll learn something from your classmates. So I encourage you to use this time to talk about it as a class. Your teacher can guide the discussion by sharing their own experience with this. So yeah, I hope you have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time.